Welcome back, Albion Onliners. My name is Nevaduck, and we are about 10 days away from launch. And starting today, I'll have a lot of new videos coming out with something to consider that will help you when the game launches. This topic is going to be my gathering strategy. Just remember, this is my opinion, and there are many ways to do it. Let me know what your strategy is in the comments below. Things that you should consider. Do you want to gather everything or just one resource? Basically, I enjoy being able to gather everything in a blue and a yellow zone. It's safe, or relatively safe, and being able to grab everything has worked out well for me. I'm able to actually level up my crafting to tier 4, all my gathering to tier 4, and then slowly work up to tier 5 with no sense of urgency there. But what I would recommend is once you get to black or red zones, just because you can't load up an ox all the way, you're just a sitting duck waiting to be killed and have your stuff stolen from you. I would recommend focusing on one resource because you're going to want to most likely be on a armored mount that you can take a beating on but still get away quickly. Also in the red or black zones, I would recommend just gathering the resource that you need for your specialized crafting, if you are going to craft items, or whatever your guild is depending on you for. At launch, I'm creating 3 characters. I'll have a crafter with a tanking build. I will have a gatherer with an escape build, and a fighter with, well, you guessed it, something to PvP or PvE in would do some damage. I'll be using learning points to focus each goal or each character's goal to increase it quickly. So on my gatherer, I'm going to use learning points primarily for the node or the type of resource that I'll be gathering on him. And then of course on the fighter, whatever weapons and stuff I'm using on him. And then of course on the crafter, whatever he's crafting. Tips while gathering. All right, here's a few things that I wanted to go over. Always have the highest tool on you that you can use. Now, if you're going out and you're farming ore, you still want to bring your other tools with you. And the reason why is you're going to kick yourself if you run by a 0.2 node or a 0.1 node or a 0.3 node. Nothing's worse than getting out there and seeing a 0.2 node when you know you need a little bit more of that for your next item. So always bring your highest tool just in case. Now, if you're going into tier 7 and tier 8 to gather and you know there won't be anything else in there with your other tools because they're not leveled high enough, don't worry about that. When you get ready to dismount and gather resources, make sure you get off your mount in the best place. What I mean by this is the best place to dismount is like in between a bunch of nodes. Don't dismount directly on one node and then have to remount to pick something up like just a little ways away when you could have got off your mount in between the 2 nodes or 3 nodes or 5 nodes. The more stuff you can gather every time you get off your mount, the better. In red or black zones, you can be killed and everything you have can be looted, so don't gather all the nodes all the way to 0. What I mean by this, if you're farming trees, if you're farming ore, fiber, stone, and you see the 4 of 4, and then it goes 3 of 4, and then it goes 2 of 4, right before it gets to, before you gather the 1 of 4, make sure you cancel it. If you leave a bunch of trees that have been harvested and visually somebody can ride by and know that it's been harvested, you're going to leave a trail right to where you're at. And so these ganking squads or these solo gankers or whatever's out there trying to kill people just to get quick loot, just to get quick silver, stuff like that off you, you're going to leave a trail right to where you're at. It's a little bit trickier with animals when you're skinning them because you have to kill them. So you might as well skin them all the way. But then be smart about it. Don't go in a straight line when you're farming animals. Skip like 7 or 8 packs and run from one corner to the next corner to the next corner of the zone. Don't be predictable. And same goes when you're mining. You don't want to be mining somebody to see you and then go up ahead of you and wait to gank you. you want to be smart about what you do. Another thing to do when you're in the black or red zones is always have a plan of escape. For instance, if I'm farming ore, I'm going to want to be close to my mount. So I will have my mouse hovering over my mount and my eyes constantly scanning for somebody on the edges of my screen that's red. Second somebody on the edges of my screen is red, I'll mount up and get out of there. You should know your area and be able to navigate without getting stuck in a bottleneck. The more you're ready to escape, the better chances you have of getting out of there with all the items that you've farmed. Remember, there's always protection in numbers. There's nothing wrong with taking an extra guildie, taking a whole group of people and farming in a specific zone and kind of taking it over. It might create a war and it might not, but having those extra people there to help you escape might not be a bad way to go. And lastly, I want to do a couple tips on selling your resources. One thing you have to remember is that the markets go up and the markets go down for whatever you're trying to sell. You do not have to sell your item then. And remember, you can wait till the prices get higher versus lower. Try not to sell the instant prices, and I'll have a guide a little bit better for the market a little bit later. But remember, you want to set your price. You don't want to just accept whatever price other people are giving unless it's the same or close. You also you might want to take all your gear off, everything out of your bags and off your character, and you can take a zero-cost ferry ride to the next town over in a yellow zone and see how much stuff is selling for there, because around the zone that you're farming in, you may have a high concentration of ore, but 3 zones over, there might not be. So on their auction house, they might not have that many. So it might be worthwhile to mount up on your ox, throw a bunch of ore in there, and run over there. Same with going to the red zones. You might be able to go to the main city there and sell a lot as well. The other thing you can do is you can make a deal with a guild that needs resources. And if they don't have any dedicated gatherers, they might love that. So what you could do, you could say, I'll provide you with 200 skins every day of tier 4 because they're on tier 4 gear. And they might say, okay, if you do that, we will give you 30,000 gold for every 200 skins. And you just kind of make a verbal contract with them and you just work the contract. What this will do for you is it'll build a relationship. So say you do need a group of people to escort you up through red zones, or maybe you need somebody to protect you for gathering. So maybe you give them a percentage of your skins while they protect you for gathering. It's a social game. Figure out ways to make silver just by having relationships. It'll work out really well. All right, what do you think of my ideas? I know I didn't go in depth, but I wanted to get some thought-provoking stuff out there. And down in the comments, let me know what you think I missed, what you think you would add. If I'm completely off base, let me know. And if you like these videos, please subscribe and throw me a like. This is Nevaduck, and I'll see you in game.